Okay, so a quick note on annotation. So, in your syllabus, which I will give you next Wednesday after I review all of your feedback and your info sheets, there's going to be within that document an annotation guide, but you also have it attached here so you can start annotating the poem we're going to read. So everything we said about Rosenblatt's theory of transaction is great, but in order to bring life to a piece of writing, we need to understand what we're reading. I believe that anybody can pick up anything and understand it. It's just a matter of breaking it down, right? So no matter how advanced you are, there's always a piece of literature somewhere in the world that will be still challenging and difficult. And no matter um, how unversed you might be in reading literature, you could approach the most difficult piece of literature as long as you take it section by section. So when I suggest for fiction, or we'll include in fiction all literature, including poetry, which is not always fiction, and creative essays, and drama, all of that. I suggest 3 steps that I also use myself. The first thing you want to do when you get a piece of writing in front of you is identify any words you don't know. Every word is intentional in a piece of writing, and every word you don't know is a locked door, but we all have personal devices that can unlock those doors. So identify the words you don't know and don't just pass them over. Don't even just allow yourself to infer the meaning based on the words around them. Look it up, because there's a reason that a specific word is chosen. Like in a poem, if the word rock is there instead of the word stone, there's intention behind that, and it matters. The sound of it matters, the meaning of it matters, the layers of meaning, the nuance, all of that's important to a piece of literature. So always make sure you know the words that are on the page. Doesn't mean you have to learn them and memorize them, but as you're reading, look it up. This will do something else you'll notice sort of naturally for you. It will expand your vocabulary in the most simple, easy, and natural way, because humans learn through association. So if you've ever been around a baby who's acquiring language and learning to speak, babies point to things in a questioning way, and then the adults around them name the thing for the baby, right? And then the baby has the word for apple, for instance. We do the same thing as we learn language and words. So once you are in a text, identifying words you don't know, looking it up, make sure you attach the word you don't know to a word, a meaning of that word that you do know, and that association is going to make navigating through language a lot easier for you, and you'll notice that you start to expand your vocabulary without keeping lists of vocab words or applying a lot of pressure to yourself. So that's the first step. The second step is to summarize each section in as few words as possible. By section, this could mean a paragraph, this could mean part of a paragraph, this could mean a line, a stanza in a poem. It really depends on the piece of writing, and also your preference, how long that section is. But if you can say back to yourself what you just read, it does 2 things. It checks for comprehension. It also keeps you focused on the page. I recognize that not every single person in here loves to read, probably to the same degree that I do, right? But that doesn't mean that there are ways to stay focused even if you find it a challenge, right? And breaking a piece of literature down, no matter how large or short it is, will help you do that. And then after, the third step is to interpret the thing that you just summarized, right? So summary comes first because you want to make sure you know what you just read, and then interpretation comes. Summary is quite simply what is happening on the page, like what literally happened. Interpretation is what it means, why it matters. Interpretation is going to be really the driving force of a literature course. As we consume literature and read it, we are going to be discussing the meaning of the symbolism in the story, the rising action in a story, how a piece of dialogue moved forward the action. All of those little small pieces are intentional, and we're going to analyze all of those. But if you start practicing interpretation now in the poem we're about to read, that will help you tremendously in this course. So that is a brief word on annotation. The document is uploaded here. It will also be in your syllabus as well.